Good morning, Brian Cook here. And as always, we're playing the Epic Storm. Today we are playing the Legacy Showcase Challenge. I believe that these have replaced the format challenges. I'm still going to list them as format challenges in my spreadsheet, or format playoffs, I should say. So that way I can filter the deck or the results by these events similarly because they just replaced the other. So I think they're pretty similar. I'm going to continue to do that. If you don't like it, I don't care. But today we're running a list that I've been calling version 8.8. I 5-0'd with it earlier this week, but in general, my results haven't been that good. I've been running a little bit above 500, so like 55%. That doesn't have anything to do with the list. The metagames have been really tough for the Epic Storm over the last 2 weeks. Uh, there's been a lot of people gunning to beat us, which is what happens when you do well out of the gate. So there's been a lot of deafening silence, a lot of chalice of the void, but on top of that, there's been like Mindbreak Trap has come out of in flocks. I'm seeing a lot of Mindbreak Traps out of matchups that I would normally wouldn't expect them out of. So I've been losing to Mindbreak a lot, and because of this, I've been changing the way I play. So I've been leaving in defense grid in more matchups, and if you're running a list with Hope of Gear per, I've been either leaving or I've been boarding them in matchups where you normally wouldn't, or just like I don't know. Like I'm taking more caution to playing around Mindbreak Trap. So if you watch the entire format challenge, you'll see that I take a conscious effort a lot around playing around Mindbreak Trap. The main deck it should look pretty familiar. This is the 60 we've been running. The only difference is I cut the main deck Chain of Vapor for a third defense grid. This is to help out the Delver Secrets matchups. I just made this change and I found that I was winning a lot more against Delver. And it's just because Defense Grid is one of the best cards you can have in the matchup. And if you're drawing it at a higher frequency, you're going to win more. So, no main deck Chain of Vapor. This does hurt the mid range matchups a little bit, but I personally think that's worth it. Because like you're favored in most mid-range matchups, and even if you lose game one, you're boarding into answers. So I do think Chain's probably better off on the board. If you were to play it, I don't even know what you would cut. I tried finding room to be honest, and it's either the third right or the fourth Rite of Flame. But then you have three Rite of Flame, three Chromox, and three Mox Opal, which is kind of silly. So I just wouldn't play it. You can choose to not run the grid in the main and run it in the board, but then you're losing more game ones to Delver, and that's such a close matchup where I think you need every percentage you can get in it. It's also really good against Show and Tell. They Show and Tell you put in grid. Yeah. So in the board, you'll see two Tormod's Crypt. This is mainly for the Breach decks, but it has Splash Hate against Dredge and Hogak, which have been really big recently. So I've been liking the Crypts. Chain of Vapor is just by far the best answer. I tried a split this week with Echoing Truth, and I found that most of the time I drew Echoing Truth, I just wished it was Chain of Vapor. So I'm going to run two Chains and two Decay and not run the Echoing Truth. I don't fault anyone that runs Echoing Truth. It's just that's not what I'm going to do. Abrupt Decay is mainly for deafening silence out of blue decks. It's been on the rise, so we need to be prepared. It's been pretty good in a few other places as well, but that's primarily where it's for. I've even blown up a Chalice of the Void on two with it once, so that was pretty cool. Empty the Warrens, we're running four to help beat these Delver decks. Infernal Tutor and Grape Shot should be pretty standard. I brought this up to the Storm guys a couple of times. I think Infernal Tutor is honestly like a flex spot at this point. I think that it's like one of the least valuable slots in the board. Like I use every other card so often other than the Infernal Tutor. I don't know if that says anything, but it's something to keep an eye on, I guess. And Pulverize, you kind of just need it. Yeah. So this is the Epic Storm version 8.8. This is what I've been running the last few days. Uh, yeah. Has this thing started yet? Just did. Eli 12. According to MTG Goldfish, this person has formerly played a lot of Maverick and 12 Post. So we're going to hope that they're not on a blue deck. But this hand's pretty good. I would keep this against most decks. Alright, well, that's certainly not a Maverick list. Next turn, we're going to hope to fetch Brainstorm. Maybe it's like Blue Maverick. Wishclaw was a very good draw there. We have enough mana to win here with Veil back up. Alright, so Veil has resolved. Excuse me. Sorry, the sneeze threw me off. I actually wanted to tap this and float a black. I think that black mana is a little bit more valuable post ad nauseum. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Alright, we're going to stop at 6 to avoid death. We're going to board in our Chain of Vapors and our Abrupt Decays here. I imagine our opponent's playing Green Sun Zenith and then has things like Collector Oof. And our opponent's pausing on this Chrome Mox. And that's game 1. Pretty good draws we had in the first game. I would take a few more of those today. I think I'm going to try this. So if you didn't want to board out Rite of Flame here, you could shave a defense grid. I don't know how like blue this deck actually is, so you could probably like shave a grid, and then like maybe a ponder and keep in 2 Rite of Flame. But 2 Rite of Flame seems a little weird. I'm just gonna submit this. And if you enjoy what you're watching, please consider heading over to theepicstorm.com/shop to show your support by buying a Storm 20 baseball tee, a Black Belcher tee, or many other glorious items. Alright, we're on the draw. This hand seems fine. I really want some mana, though. There's step 1. Come on, Dark Ritual. Actually, a pair of Dark Rituals. It's not bad. So the plan it would be to play Defense Grid next turn, and then leaving open 3 mana, that's pretty interesting. And then the turn after that winning. But I don't know if that's going to happen, so. I usually turn off the volume before I start recording, and I just didn't think of it. Hardcast Force Negation. Click. That's fine. Joke's on you, our hand is great. Okay, so this signals that they probably have another counterspell. It's interesting. One thing we could do here is cast Burning Wish to protect our life total, and then get Grape Shot, and then Grape Shot those. It also shuts them off from tapping, because they missed their land drop here. So this way we can put 2 targets on Grape Shot on each. This stops like a force. Because I want to kill both creatures. We're really hoping our opponent just like plays a land and passes, and we draw mana. That would be the most ideal thing here. It would also take like a brainstorm into another cantrip. Opponent's thinking pretty hard on this brainstorm. So part of the reason I wanted to preserve our life total last turn was that we boarded out Rite of Flame, and I don't know how reliable Ad Nauseam will be. So taking another hit for 4 brings us down to 9, and meanwhile we still have to play around Force of Will. Because like I could have in theory gotten Echo there, and then cast Ad Nauseam next turn, add mana, they counter it, and then I flashback Echo. Uh, but I think this line's better. Sure, you have a Torment script. Come on. Mana. Hey. Dark Ritual, my old friend. We're going to add black, blue. Because we have a red here. You really only need 1 red. Oh, my opponent's salting. I love it. Is that enough to win? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'll take another ritual as well. I don't understand why people salt off in chat. And we won. We beat, I don't even know what to call this. I'm going to label it as Bug Leovold because that's the closest thing that I think it could be. It's either that or like Bant Stoneblade, but they do nothing. Uh, so I think this is more likely like a Green Sun Zenith deck, so I'm going to label it as Bug Leovold. And if you have any other thoughts, let me know. But I think that's probably what this is.